Hello, this is Nikki in Niagara coming to you from Niagara Falls, Canada, and this is part 2 of a two-part series, I guess you can say, of the art journal or junk journal that I am currently working on, and using up my stash because I have a lot of stash. I will put a link down below to part 1 so you can hear me talk about how I store my stash and how I use it, and I'm just going to dive right in because if you're like me, then you don't like listening to people introduce the project at the beginning of every single video. So go watch the other one at least at the beginning to find out what we're talking about here. So remember, this is how I keep my collage elements together in a flowish thing. Not fancy, just a rubber band around it. So I started with one of those, and it was basically this size. And it had a lot of big papers in it. There was a map, there was a whole bunch of wrapping paper, and so I knew I would be able to make a proper sized book. So I went and grabbed a box, and I turned it into a cover and a spine. And so I picked a box that would be an appropriate size for the papers that I had on hand. And remember, I like the randomness of how this all works out. So I picked the box, but everything that's inside here came from the collage pack. I think I'm going to call them collage packs because flowish collage packs, I don't know. Does everything have to have a name? But I have to call it something. So flowish collage pack. That is what I started with. Okay, so I put together this. I made 5 signatures from the papers, and I sewed them right to the spine. I don't measure. I use I use a little template for the inside to punch my holes and stuff, but I don't measure them, I just eye it. So it's not perfect, it's a little wonky, and I don't care because that's how I like my art. And of course this is has a lot of work to be done on it. This is nowhere near finished, it just has all its pages. And basically that's what I'm going to go through. I have done a little bit of collaging in it, and I have given myself a lot of room here. You can see, I think you can see there are quite big spaces between the signatures. Oh, there, that's between, and there. So there are quite big spaces between the signatures so that I can get chunky with this. And maybe when it's finished it will be like this. So right now it's kind of thin. Okay, so I've put this here because I am going to glue this on here. I have been wanting to use this forever. I just absolutely love clocks, and I keep clocks. And this is actually from a clock that I had and it broke. So I pulled this out of it and the gears. But yeah, so that's gonna go there. Now, lots and lots and lots of wrapping paper, but I also had some drawer liner in there, and this paper is really nice. It's a nice thickness, and I was like so excited when I got it from a thrift store. I couldn't wait to use it, but I didn't. It was just like it was too special to use. And it just sat in my stash, and I am so happy to have finally used it. And there are several different varieties and patterns of it in here, and I just have one sheet of this pattern left. So, drawer liner. 1970s home magazine. A 1950s British magazine. Now, as I started putting this together, I realized that this flowish collage pack had a lot of vintage pictures and pages in it, and this book ended up taking on the theme of vintage ladies, and I kind of went with that as we went along. See, on here, even, so this is a lady vacuuming, or, oh no, she's setting the table. And it says, and puddles at the top here, right here, puddles. I'll probably keep that there. I haven't worked on these pages. This will probably just stay the way it is unless I put a flower on it or something like that. Okay, so I glued that to a page. Oh, to the back of this. This is gift wrap. So I have a lot of vintage gift wrap in here. And I glued this on the blank side. Magazine page, see, more ladies. They just turned up everywhere. This is the back of wrapping paper. This is, I had that picture of the ladies twice, so these are their feet. That's the page, vintage gift wrap, drawer liner, page from vintage 50s, 1950s women's magazine, which I glued onto one side of just the sheet from the magazine. And this is the drawer. Oh no, I have no idea where this came from. I had this piece of paper and I cut it down to size to fit in here. I have no idea what it is or where it came from, but it's got like blue clouds and blank pages. Remember, I haven't done any collage in this, maybe a bit. Magazine page, drawer liner, gift wrap, magazine page, and there's those 70s ladies again showing up, so we should find their feet again somewhere. Vintage gift wrap, magazine page, gift wrap, and I've glued something to the back side. Vintage magazine, that is a cactus flower. Magazine page, drawer liner, yep. So that's the first signature, and see, I've got spaces like this between them, which is bigger than what you usually want to have when you bind a book. But I've done that on purpose so that I'm going to wrap yarns and lace and ribbons and stuff around that in those spots, and it also allows this to get chunky once I've worked in it. Okay, so next one, I received something in a Tyvek envelope that had this pretty pattern on it. And Tyvek is always fun to work on. Now this was really cool because it had something to do with the Queen Mary celebrating some sort of anniversary, and it had this great big poster of the ship. So I've used it a couple times in here, and I just think it's really cool. I love this kind of thing. It's almost like a map. I love diagrams. I love diagrams and maps and stuff. So yeah, that'll get covered up, but that may stay the way it is. Gift wrap. This is just a picture from an old book. This was the back of the map, and I believe this was the top half of it, which didn't have much on it, so I've covered it with vintage gift wrap. Isn't this gorgeous? I love this one. This is gift wrap. Yes. This is, I glued this onto the back of, oh okay, so this is the drawer liner. There we go, that's the word I was thinking of. So there's the drawer liner, and the back was blank, so I put this drawer liner on it, and it didn't reach quite all the way to the end, so I covered it up with gift wrap. And then that was glued to the back of a magazine page that was boring like this one. This is a poster from Daphne's diary, and I cut it up. This was the center part, which had the cats sitting in a line. So the back is blank. Vintage gift wrap. And this one, I kept the fold that came with it. And then I had these. This was a card that was actually like joined together. Oh, you know what? I know what this is. I know what this is. I remember. This came from pantyhose. I bought a pair of pantyhose, and then it had this this inside as the packaging. So I cut it in half, and I made these into pockets, and I will decorate those as tags. Okay, so this is the middle of the second signature, and there's the rest of the Daphne's Diary poster. So quickly through this now. Magazine page. Feels like there's 2 pages there. Oh, have I glued them together? Yes, okay. This was an image I glued onto the back of magazine page because I'm keeping with the vintage women theme at this point. And you know what? I've just torn that. I have glue right here, so I'm just going to, well, I didn't tear it, but I unglued it. Okay, drawer. Wrapping paper. Okay, so here's the map. Picture from a book. Gift wrap. And here is the rest of the boat that opens up. And then those are just blank pages. This is the Tyvek, and it says "For You." I will probably be keeping that and altering this out somehow. Okay, so now on to the third signature. We have gift wrap, magazine page, drawer liner. Isn't that one gorgeous? I love this one. Magazine page, drawer liner, vintage lady, gift wrap. This is from the Queen Mary thing. Gift wrap, magazine page, drawer liner, center of the signature, magazine, gift wrap. And this is another part of the Queen Mary, and we've got a diagram of the inside of the ship on that, so that folds that way. Gift wrap. Oh, that's stuck to that one. So this is going to give me a nice distressed look on my collage. Oh, what the heck happened? Oh, now I'm ripping the paper. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now this is distressed. And it says, this came from an ad, a vintage ad. Headaches, today you can get fast relief safely. So I've done that page. I actually did a collage in here. Okay, if you can call that a collage, gluing down 2 pieces of paper. Magazine page, gift wrap, vintage lady. And I know this is the opposite, but for some reason I thought this was funny. If lot space is limited, you can expand vertically. And that just made me think about horizontal for some reason. So I was really hoping that I could find a picture of a woman laying down in bed or something like that. But this is even better. This was in my pack. I did not have to go searching for it. And I know it's not, this is vertical and this is horizontal. So it just kind of like go together like that. So there you go with serendipity again. Gift wrap. This is gift wrap, and this is a poem that I cut out of a page and put on it. Magazine page. And I had this cutout image of Sophia Loren in this pack. So, vintage lady. Exotic beauty. This exotic beauty was actually on the page of the cactus that we saw earlier. Drawer wrap. Then I had the rules for Parker Brothers Game of Words Probe, which was about 3 pages. Took the staples out of it and I put it into here. And this lady is laying here because I'm going to put her on that. Magazine page. I glued that vintage lady to the drawer liner. A gift wrap. This was an old ad for cigarettes. Baby on the back. This, I believe, is from a Sesame Street. Yes, it is. This was a poster in the middle of a Sesame Street magazine. Do you remember when they used to make the Sesame Street magazine? I used to get that when I was a kid. And I used to get it for my oldest. Every time we were at the grocery store, I would look for the Sesame Street magazine just for me just as much as for him. And then we would have fun matching up matching up the pictures and learning the alphabet and all that kind of stuff. So this is the back of it, which will get covered up. Not sure what I'll do with this. I had to decide if I was going to cut between Ernie in half or Bert in half. And I was always a fan of Bert. I loved Bert. I loved his doing the pigeon. Doing the pigeon. Okay, my singing is painful. Eat a variety of foods. Wash fruits and vegetables before you eat them. Vintage magazine. And this is the reason I kept it, because of the comic advertisement for cigarettes. Drawer liner, magazine page. This is the rules of the Parker Brothers game in French, upside down, because you turned the book one way and it was English, and then you turned it upside down and it was French. And this lady is going to go there, so I cut her out. Drawer liner, a vintage wrap. And here, this I've done in the center. This was just the back of gift wrap, so it was plain. And I put this old thing here. There was a young woman, so we've got a vintage lady again, who lived in a shoe. She'd all of 9 children and knew what to do. There's not enough room around here for a mouse. We simply must move to a much larger house. And then I have an ad for Disprin, which is a headache medication. Okay, go through this quickly now. Okay, so I'll just show you the pages. We've seen this stuff before. I'll only mention if it's something new. The ships again. I really like these old cars. And they're vintage, so I mean, they're not ladies, but at least it goes with the vintage theme. And these pages too, they all just kind of, this feels vintagey to me. This one is the rest of the fold-out poster for the Queen Mary. So it's got more of the diagram on. This had some writing on it here, so I ended up putting this old ad there. Vintage lady. I think this one is a pocket, yeah. So this one is a pocket. Getting to the end. And then this came in there too. From the Mandarin restaurant. This is, I don't know what you call this stuff. Plastic. And it was the Mandarin's 35th anniversary. Look at it. So I plan to paint this red and collage on it, and then it's going to get stuck there. So we will have the maple leaf there and the clock here, though I do love this so much that I may end up putting it on the front and putting some bling, and who knows. But that's all set up. So what I have left, I'm still working on this, is I have lots of vintage wrap left. It's not going to get used, but it'll go back into my stash. And then I have this, whoops, I have this drawer liner here, and I am holding it all together with a spiral clip, which I may use in the book. I probably will, actually. But, yeah, never mind. And then I went through all the pages and scraps and whatever that I had left over, and I picked out all the stuff that would fit into the vintage ladies theme. And I put those in here. Plus I have 2 of these now. Oh, 3. No, 2. 2 of these left over. And these are the scraps and words and stuff that'll go with the vintage ladies theme. And then I have this pile of scraps left over, which I will use for collaging in the book. So I will be using up this to go in that journal, and then I'll take it from there and use outside sources. But first I want to use this all up so that I can say that I used a complete one of these. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed having a look through of that journal. You won't see it again. I'm losing my cloth. You won't see it again until I am finished to do a flip through of the full journal. So if you made it this far, please give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe down below and leave your comments and let's chat. So have a nice evening. Bye-bye.